Kennedy pulled the frayed hood of his sweatshirt tighter around his face as the morning wind bit through the thin fabric. He had spent the last hour walking along the crowded sidewalks of downtown, his clothes dusty, his beard unshaven, and his shoes scuffed and torn. People passed him without so much as a glance. Some even stepped aside as though his very presence was an inconvenience. To everyone else, he was just another homeless man wandering the streets. But beneath the worn clothing and weathered appearance was Senator John Kennedy, a man known for his sharp wit, fearless debates, and deep sense of justice. Today, he wasn't here to give a speech or pass a bill. He was here to test something far more personal, a suspicion that banks treated the poor and homeless not just with indifference, but with outright disregard. Kennedy's idea had been brewing for months. He had heard countless stories from constituents about being dismissed by loan officers, humiliated by tellers, or outright refused service because of their appearance. But hearing stories wasn't enough. He wanted to see it for himself. So, with the help of a small documentary crew following at a distance, he decided to disguise himself and walk into a major bank downtown.
The glass doors of the bank gleamed under the mid-morning sun.
Kennedy hesitated for a moment, his reflection in the spotless glass a stark contrast to the chaos of the street behind him. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. Immediately, the air changed. It was warm, quiet, and smelled faintly of polished wood and coffee. "Can I help you?" a young woman at the front desk asked, her tone clipped, her eyes darting toward the security guard. "Yes," Kennedy said softly, his voice raspy as if he'd been sleeping rough for weeks. "I'd like to open an account." Her eyebrows lifted slightly, and she gave a short, incredulous laugh before covering it with a cough. "Do you have any ID?" Kennedy pulled a battered wallet from his pocket, revealing an old driver's license and a crumpled Social Security card. The woman barely glanced at them before shaking her head. "You'll need proof of address, a deposit, and, well, I'm not sure we can proceed without cleaner documentation." He nodded slowly, then asked, "What if I don't have a home right now? Is there any way, any program that can help me?" Her smile was tight and perfunctory. "Not here, sir. Maybe try a shelter or community center." From the corner of his eye, Kennedy noticed a middle-aged man in a suit step through the line just moments after him. The man was greeted warmly, handed paperwork, and offered coffee without hesitation. The difference was like a slap in the face. Kennedy left the first bank without a scene, but his heart was heavy. He visited 3 more that day. At each one, the reception was nearly identical. In one, a teller openly grimaced when he leaned on the counter. In another, a manager barely let him explain before calling for security to escort him out. By the time he entered the 5th bank, Kennedy's chest ached, not from the rejection itself, but from imagining how many real homeless people had endured this exact treatment day after day. Inside, he was surprised to be greeted by an older teller named Mrs. Jacobs, who smiled at him without a hint of hesitation. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you today?" Kennedy explained the same situation, that he had no permanent address, little money, but wanted to start an account to save what he could earn. Mrs. Jacobs listened carefully, then excused herself and returned with a manager, Mr. Patel. To Kennedy's shock, Patel offered him a seat, a cup of tea, and information about a special program the bank partnered with, one designed specifically to help people without stable housing open accounts. They explained how they could use the address of a local shelter, waive certain fees, and even provide small financial literacy workshops. Kennedy felt a genuine lump in his throat. It wasn't just about the money, it was about being treated like a human being. He thanked them and left, his faith in compassion partially restored. That evening, Kennedy returned to his office, washed off the disguise, and sat in front of the camera crew. In a calm but firm voice, he recounted everything he had experienced that day, the dismissive stares, the humiliation, the single bright light in an otherwise dark series of encounters. When the video aired weeks later, it exploded across social media. People were outraged at how many banks had treated him, an influential senator, albeit in disguise, like a nuisance. But they were also inspired by the kindness of Mrs. Jacobs and Mr. Patel, proof that change was possible. Kennedy ended the documentary with a powerful message: we can pass laws. We can write policies. But if the human heart does not change, if we cannot look at another person and see their worth, then all the rules in the world won't matter. Every person you pass has a story.